do you think you have in history?
In history? In history, we'll all be dead.
You may find yourself in a beautiful house.
Fiasco.
You may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
You ruined it for us. The Bush name.
Has he been imbibing something I don't know about?
Yeah, devil. Devil in a white hat.
I'll never get out of Poppy's shadow. Who ever remembered the son of the president anyway?
John Quincy Adams.
Yeah, but that was like 300 years ago, wasn't it?
The American people want revenge. They liked Afghanistan. They want more. Advanced interrogation techniques utilize fear scenarios.
You like pulling out their toenails?
What have I done?
On October 17th of 2008, Oliver Stone's biopic W was released nationwide. This was just 3 weeks before Democratic candidate Barack Obama would handily defeat Republican candidate Senator John McCain in the 2008 presidential election. Now, the movie W itself was a depiction of the Republican Party as a group of bumbling idiots and a non-functional group of misfits led by former President George W. Bush, and it worked actually perfectly with what the Democrats were trying to do, as they were trying to frame the campaign as John McCain being a continuation of the Bush presidency. So the timing of this movie, just being 3 weeks before the polls opened, was very fortuitous for the Democratic Party, and Oliver Stone himself is a known contributor and member of the Democrat Party. Now, this is just one example of how media and entertainment and television and movies have played important roles in political campaigns and elections, and we're going to talk about a lot more in the next few minutes. We're going to start out by talking about radio influence, and that'll be done by Chris Rakoff, and then we're going to move on, and Brooke Taylor's going to talk about one of the newest medias out there, the social media and internet, and she'll talk about how they play an important role in campaigns. And finally, Mason Kaufman's going to tell you a little bit about how television and movies and entertainment play an important role in campaigns and elections. But first of all, let's start by going over to Chris Rakoff, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the radio.
According to an American political research article by Marvin and Barth, although much research has been done on advertising in American political campaigns, virtually all is focused on television. More campaigns use radio than television, though. According to the Washington Post, 30 million people listen to Rush Limbaugh's radio show. That means one extremely conservative man has a pretty big effect on political campaigns. His 3-hour daily program is broadcast over 600 domestic stations. On the other end of the spectrum, National Public Radio takes a more liberal stance, with over 40 million people listening to National Public Radio. So as you can see, radio does quite have an effect on political campaigns. Not as much as television, but a pretty big effect. And now I'm going to pass it to Brooke, and she's going to talk about social media and the internet.
When it comes to social media, influence on campaigns seems to be growing at a fast pace. Unlike radio, TV, or newspapers, social media seems to reach all sorts of demographics. 2008 was the first big election year where candidates utilized social media. Obama's campaign garnered 5 million supporters on social networks. Obama raised $639 million from 3 million donors, mostly through the internet. Social media is a fast, easy, and sometimes free way to raise money, get information out there, and gain support for the candidate and the election in general. Next, we will go over 4 of the biggest social media sites that are used in campaigning today. Starting with Reddit, it's basically a forum of collected online postings from all over the web. People upvote what they are interested in and what they think is important. Reddit also has a feature called an AMA, Ask Me Anything, where people ranging from celebrities to politicians to normal people can hold a question and answer session with the users of the website. Many authors do this before a big book release, as do celebrities to promote their new movie, or politicians to promote their candidacy. Ron Paul, along with Barack Obama, actually took part this year. Politics has its own subpage on the website, but things tend to lean a little towards the left. Besides the bias, Reddit is a way to stay informed on campaigns and the people who are running them. Next is YouTube, which is, of course, a collection of millions of videos on the web. Candidates can use YouTube as a tool to get their message out to tons of people in a matter of how many minutes it takes to upload the video. People can also post videos to others by way of other social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit for it to get more views. Even though campaign ads play on TV, watchers never know exactly when they will be shown or if they're seeing the full message. YouTube is a great and easy way for viewers to watch the ads, whether they are negative or positive, with a simple search. YouTube also has its share of parody and user-made videos making fun of the candidates or sharing their opinions and thoughts. Regardless of video type, these only bring more attention to the candidacy in the long run. On to Twitter. Twitter is where people can post what they're doing, their current thoughts, or just opinions in general to their followers. People choose whom to follow based on their likes and interests. Some users have 100 followers, while others, such as celebrities and politicians, can have millions. Of course, the more followers you have, the more your message gets out. Followers can favorite tweets or retweet them, which in turn makes more people see the message. On the other hand, Twitter can bring out tons of non-supporters. An example is Donald Trump on Barack Obama in the 2012 election. One can post anything on the internet, whether it causes support or a backlash, and Trump didn't seem to find any need in hiding his disappointment in the president. Regarding stats, Barack Obama currently has over 23 million followers, while Mitt Romney has a little over 1 million. While this doesn't seal a campaign in stone, more followers mean more publicity in the long run. Lastly, we have what is probably the most popular and widely used site, Facebook. It is used by politicians in the ways of paid ads and also free pages to support the candidate. By using Facebook, campaigns can get their messages out to millions. Users can like their favorite candidate or post on the wall of their least favorite. The options are almost limitless. Facebook is also a great way for candidates to keep a sort of grassroots campaign going. They can stay close to their supporters by posting the latest updates within the campaign or about the politician themselves, which makes voters feel like they are in the know. According to TechCrunch.com, Facebook actually quadruples the power of campaign messages. Social media is a helpful tool in campaigns because it brings news on issues, candidates, and elections to the people by way of sharing, perhaps to people who may not have seen it otherwise. It is also a great and easy way for candidates to bring an enormous amount of money for their campaign. Candidates can run blogs, have their own website, can reach out to followers through Twitter, or bring together supporters or opponents on Facebook. More people are using social media every day, and the influence on campaigns on social media will only continue to grow in the future. Whether it is Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, social media is the next generation of candidacy. Now Mason Kaufman will talk about the effects of television and movies.
TV and movies have an effect on campaigns as well as radio and social media. One way campaigns can be affected is by how knowledgeable the viewers are. According to thinkprogress.org, a new study by the Pew Research Study shows that viewers of The Daily Show and The Colbert Report have the highest knowledge of national and international affairs, while Fox News ranks nearly dead last. People are just about equal in their knowledge of our leaders now as they were 20 years ago, but the percent of high knowledge viewers for The Daily Show and Colbert Report is at 54%, while Fox News is at just 35%. And the reason being is because The Daily Show keeps people's attention because they make issues more entertaining. Along with The Daily Show and The Colbert Report, you also have SNL, Saturday Night Live. People, they have actors that play a role of each candidate, and they do that throughout the election, and they make certain skits on what's going on and what the current issues are. Along with TV shows, you also have movies, and one movie that highlights how campaigns are affected is the movie The Campaign with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. It highlights how campaigns are run, and it points out having a consultant to run your campaign, along with allowing people to take a cynical view about the entire process of a campaign. Also, as Ethan mentioned in our opening, the movie W played a role in the 2008 presidential election. It was released 3 weeks prior to the election to highlight flaws within the Republican Party and eventually helped boost Democratic appeal. Very similar tactics were used in Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11. Now I'm going to hand it over to Ethan to wrap this thing up.
So today we talked about the effects of media and entertainment on campaigns and elections. We talked a little bit about the radio and their effect on how they get involved with campaigns and elections. Chris talked to you about Rush Limbaugh's audience size and the effect of his audience and his influence on a campaign and election. Talked also a little bit about the other side in national public radio. We then moved on to social media and the internet, which is the new breed of media as far as getting involved in campaigns and elections. And then from there, we talked about television and movies and entertainment and their effect on campaigns and election, from The Daily Show to shows like Saturday Night Live, and again the aforementioned movie by Oliver Stone, W, and how it played an important effect in the 2008 election. So we really hope you enjoyed our project, and have a nice day.